What is up, everybody? Purple and Gold podcast for Saturday, March 21st. LSU loses to Oklahoma last night, 4-2. The Sooners even the series at one game apiece, and LSU may have lost starter Cooper Moore in the process. LSU got the game started, had a couple of runners on in the first inning, wind up trying the pickle play at first and third. Stephen Milam was thrown out at home. Josh Pearson hit a home run in the second inning. LSU was up 1-0. Cooper Moore had two straight 1-2-3 innings, and it looked like LSU might be on their way to winning the series. And then after Oklahoma had taken the lead 2-1, Cooper Moore threw one pitch in the fifth inning, spiked what looked like a fastball. Immediately, something was wrong. Jay Johnson came out. Isaac Trujillo, LSU's head athletic trainer, came out. He never even attempted to throw another pitch, and he exited the game. Oklahoma had 4 runs on 8 hits. LSU managed 2 runs on 7 hits. After the game, relative to Cooper Moore, all Jay Johnson would say was that it was a triceps situation that was bothering Cooper Moore, and they were hopeful, that it wasn't anything serious. Based on the nature of this being a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, it wouldn't be much of a concern for Kason Evans to pitch next Friday, William Schmidt to pitch next Saturday on his regular rest after he pitches today. And then you could either play Sunday by ear, bullpen game, or you could name a starter, Jaden Newt, Zach Cowan, if you didn't use them. Those two guys come to mind. Or you can hope that Cooper Moore is back with an extra day of rest. I'm sure they'll know more by tomorrow or Monday as to what his status is. I would suspect, based on the nature of the way that looked, that anything less than him missing at least 1 week would seem unlikely. Not that we haven't seen pitchers leave games before and then not be hurt, but I don't think LSU will rush him back, and I don't think it was nothing. Let's hope it was not anything, but I don't think it was. This team really is facing an important game today. Obviously, you want to win the series. You want to keep that math alive. You lost 2 out of 3 on the road. You'd like to win 2 out of 3 at home. You'd like to get to 3-3. The rest of this league is not going to run away from each other. I know Auburn's 4-0 right now. I know, Georgia's 3-1 after their win last night. Florida got no hit by Alabama. They're 3-1. But the league is not going to run away from you. You need to win this game today, though. William Schmidt needs to pitch well. They need to keep some traffic off the bases. Oklahoma last night, the story of the game was Oklahoma did more with their base runners, and LSU just couldn't get the big hit. LSU had chances. Derek Curiel struck out in a situation where he needed to move a runner and couldn't. LSU had a runner on in both the 8th and 9th innings and hit into double plays. Pearson in the 8th, which it was a hard hit ball, and it was a nice play by the Oklahoma third baseman, and then Chris Stanfield in the 9th. It's been frustrating for LSU because there have been games where the offense has shown up and the pitching hasn't, and then there are games like last night where even after Cooper Moore left, Cooper Williams, Grant Fontenot, Santiago Garcia all did a nice job to hold that team down to 4 runs, and LSU just couldn't break through. They couldn't get the big hit when they needed to. They had base runners, but they just couldn't get them in, couldn't get them over, and couldn't get them in. And that's been the story of this season, is like one step forward and one step back. It does give you a lot of belief that if this team is able to put it together, they could go on a big run. Outside of those first 8 games, They haven't really put it together. So let's talk a little bit about the lineup. So, we talked the other day about Omar Cerna and Kate Aaron-Beatty are going to stay in the lineup now, and I think Omar Cerna, through the first 2 games, hasn't done anything to change that opinion. And so that, with Stanfield being back in left field, that basically leaves you with third base and second base as a place to platoon players. And they've done a little bit of that. Pearson played the first 2 games at third base. Caraway played the first 2 games at second base. But Dardar and Ruckert and others have come in, to pinch hit and play defense. The spot right now that seems worrisome is first base with Zach York. Zach York was 0 for 4 last night with 4 strikeouts. Now, I don't know if today will be the day that Jay Johnson will choose to give him a little bit of a reset. But with Oklahoma throwing a left-hand pitcher today might be the day to give him a little bit of a reset. What are the options there? Well, Seth Dardar played 15 games at first base at Kansas State last year. Braden Simpson has experience at first base at High Point. And Omar Cerna played some first base in the fall and in the pre-season. And I believe he's played a couple of innings at first base in the non-conference. It'll be interesting to see what Jay Johnson does today. Do you put Cerna at first and free up the DH spot for someone to keep Caraway's bat in the lineup to maybe DH Braden Simpson, who's a righty? Or does he just stay with Zach York one more day and see how it all shakes out? Me personally, I would sit Zach York today. I think I would try to get as many right-hand hitters in the lineup as I could. So I think I'd like to have Braden Simpson, Trent Caraway, and Omar Cerna all in the game in some combination of second, first, and DH. William Schmidt needs to pitch well. LSU needs to get this W. LSU's women's basketball team steamrolled Jacksonville yesterday as expected. A 66-point victory, I believe. LSU looked fantastic. Jacksonville's just not very good. There's no parity in women's college basketball. We talked about that. Texas Tech did hold on to beat Villanova, so it will be second-seeded LSU against seventh-seeded Texas Tech tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Time on ABC in the PMAC. We will be back tomorrow at some point to recap both of today's games and probably tomorrow's games. We'll probably do a late afternoon podcast and cover both. Good luck to the Tigers today, and let's see if William Schmidt can't pitch LSU to a series victory. Enjoy your weekend. As always, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Please share. And as always, be good to one another. And always, 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 go Tigers.